Good afternoon. This is All India Radio and I'm Anuja Kumar with the Midday News. The headlines. Former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee's condition continues to be critical. Several leaders, including Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, visit AIIMS to inquire about his health. Flood situation worsens in Kerala. Death toll rises to 73. Prime Minister asks Defence Ministry to step up relief and rescue operations. Centre tells Supreme Court that the creamy layer principle cannot be applied to deny quota to SC/ST employees in promotion in government jobs. Simultaneous elections to Lok Sabha and state assemblies cannot take place unless constitution is amended, clarifies Election Commission. China to send a top negotiator to US to resume trade talks. And in women's football, India to play Nepal today in the semi-finals of SAF Under-15 Championship in Bhutan. The condition of former Prime Minister and veteran BJP leader Atal Bihari Vajpayee continues to be critical. He is admitted at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, AIIMS, in New Delhi. In its latest bulletin on Mr. Vajpayee's health, the hospital said the 93-year-old leader continues to be on life support system. He was admitted to the hospital in June. Various leaders are visiting AIIMS to inquire about the health of the former Prime Minister. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, BJP President Amit Shah, Senior Party Leader L.K. Advani and Union Ministers Rajnath Singh, Sushma Swaraj and Harshvardhan, Congress Leader Ghulam Nabi Azad, National Conference Leader Farooq Abdullah, Sitaram Yechuri of CPI-M and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal are among those who visited the hospital today. Mr. Modi had visited AIIMS last night as well and inquired about Mr. Vajpayee's health. Talking to reporters, Mr. Harshvardhan prayed for Mr. Vajpayee's recovery.
अटल जी की जो स्थिति है बहुत गंभीर है और हम सब लोग भगवान से यही प्रार्थना कर रहे हैं कि वो ठीक हो जाए तो बहुत अच्छा है, क्योंकि अटल जी के बगैर हम सबके लिए कल्पना भी करना बहुत कठिन है.
CPI-M General Secretary Sitaram Yechuri also wished a long life to the veteran leader.
हमारी कामनाएं यही है कि उनकी जिंदगी लंबी रहे. हम चाहते हैं कि वो तंदुरुस्ती से वापस लौटे घर पे.
The Delhi Traffic Police has obstructed movement of vehicles on roads leading to AIIMS. The flood situation has worsened in Kerala. Landslides have caused heavy damage and deaths in northern districts. Several districts in central Kerala have also been submerged in floods triggered by overflowing rivers. The number of those killed has mounted to 73, as 17 deaths were reported today, including 7 in Palakkad due to landslides. A red alert has been issued in all the 14 districts, and all educational institutions across the state are closed today. Thousands have been shifted to relief camps. The Met Department has predicted heavy rain, accompanied by gusty winds across the state till Saturday. Our correspondent has filed this report.
A huge amount of water is being released from Idukki and Mullaperiyar dams, resulting in rise in water in Periyar River. This has severely hit the lives of people in the downstream area. Due to floods in Ernakulam district, flight, train, bus traffic have been disrupted. The operations in Kochi International Airport was terminated till Saturday. The Southern Railway has suspended several services in many places, and Kochi Metro service was temporarily stopped. Power supply and communication channels are also affected. In hilly regions of Wayanad and Idukki, rain is still continuing. In Pathanamthitta, Ernakulam, Kozhikode district, where hundreds of people are stranded due to heavy floods, the rescue operations led by Army, Navy, NDRF are progressing on war footing. Shamila for AR News from Thiruvananthapuram.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today asked the Defence Ministry to further step up relief and rescue operations across Kerala. He also spoke with Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan again this morning. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said the centre stands firmly with the state and is ready to provide any assistance. On the directions of the Prime Minister, Cabinet Secretary chaired a high-level meeting. The Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard and NDRF have been asked to mobilize additional manpower, boats and helicopters to scale up the rescue and relief operations. Food packets and drinking water are also being rushed. In Karnataka, torrential rain for the past few days has thrown life out of gear in coastal and south interior region of the state. Dakshin Kannada, Udupi, Chikmagalur, Kodagu and some parts of Hassan and Shimoga have been badly hit. All rivers and canals in the region are overflowing, inundating low-lying areas. Krishna Rajsagar and the Kabini reservoirs released 172,000 cusecs of water in River Kaveri this morning. Authorities have alerted people living close to the banks of the rivers to move to higher regions. Over 300 people are stranded on a hillock in Madikeri after their village got submerged in water. More from our correspondent.
Roads leading to Kerala have submerged in water and vehicle movement is suspended. Landslides, loosening of soil and water logging have caused hardship to people and power shutdown has further aggravated the matter. Many houses have developed cracks and agricultural fields are under knee-deep water. Religious towns of Harnadu, Dharmasthala, Sringeri and Bhagamandala are out of bounds for tourists. The district authorities are on high alert and pressed expert divers and boats into rescue operations and taken up relief measures. An amount of 100 crore rupees is announced by the Chief Minister for these operations. He has also asked authorities to assess the damage caused by the torrential rains. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
Heavy rain has also disrupted normal life in southern and western parts of Odisha. Floodwater is flowing on the rail tracks between Raigad-Koraput and Raigad-Titlagad in Navrangpur. 4 people have been killed due to rain-related incidents. The Met Department has predicted rain with thunder shower over all the state till Saturday. In Delhi, the Yamuna continued to flow above the danger mark today, forcing over 600 people to be evacuated from low-lying areas. The water level of Yamuna reached 205.72 meters against the danger mark of 204.83 meters. Traffic police is monitoring the situation and the old Yamuna bridge may be closed once again if the water level continue to rise. The centre today told the Supreme Court that the creamy layer concept cannot be applied to deny benefits of quota in promotions to government employees of SC/ST community. Attorney General K.K. Venugopal told a 5-judge constitution bench headed by Chief Justice Deepak Mishra that there is no judgment which says that affluent people of the SC/ST community can be denied quota benefits by applying creamy layer concept. He was responding to a question whether the creamy layer concept can be applied to exclude persons who have come up to ensure that the backward among the SC/ST communities can reap the benefits of quota. The top law officer said even if some people of the community have come up, the stigma of caste and backwardness is still attached to them. He said the question of excluding certain class of SC/ST has to be decided by the President and Parliament and that this exercise is not open to judiciary. The bench is examining whether the Apex Court's 12-year-old verdict that had dealt with the issue of creamy layer for reservations to SC/ST categories in government job promotions needs to be revisited by a 7-judge bench. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. Chief Election Commissioner O.P. Rawat once again clarified today that simultaneous elections to the Lok Sabha and state assemblies cannot take place unless the constitution is amended. In an interview to AIR today, Mr. Rawat said such elections can be held when a legal framework has been put in place and the Representation of People's Act amended.
Simultaneous elections will be feasible only after the legal framework, that is, amendment to the Constitution, amendments to the RP Act are in place. Recently again it has come up that Lok Sabha's elections can be preponed to adjust with the poll going 4 states of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh and Mizoram. That is totally preposterous because when a house's term is not coming to an end or the house has not been dissolved, it is still continuing, there is no question of election to that house. The standard protocol requires that even if the machines are delivered, there are so many other processes involved. These take a lot of time and therefore anything which needs to be done in 2 months cannot really be adjusted to suit the whims and fancies of any system.
In Jammu and Kashmir, the army foiled an infiltration bid along the line of control in Naugam-Handwara sector of Kupwara district this morning. 4 army personnel were critically injured in the gunfight. Security sources said the army jawans guarding the LOC intercepted a group of armed infiltrators who, after being challenged, opened indiscriminate fire, triggering an encounter. The forces have launched a cordon and search operation in the area. In Nagaland, a large number of children and pregnant women are availing the benefits of Mission Indradhanush. The mission is providing coverage to those who have not been covered under the routine immunization program. Here is a ground report from our Kohima correspondent.
In Nagaland, special intensified mission Indradhanush under Gram Swaraj Abhiyan is being conducted in 738 villages covering 11 districts. Mrs. Sebuno from Jusama village under Kohima district explained how the mission has benefited families and the village as a whole.
During pregnancy, we get monthly free checkups. They provide us with different medicines. We get all these things for free. We even get vaccination. Then after delivery, we get all the vaccinations for our children freely provided by the Mission Indradhanush.
My name is Krevono Senuso and I'm from Jotoma village. In the past few years, the children and pregnant women in my village have been getting free routine vaccinations and immunizations from our community health center as well as health workers who come door to door to administer to those who have been left out. Mission Indradhanush has been a major help in keeping our children stay safe and healthy by preventing them from different diseases.
The State Health Department is working tirelessly by implementing effective program oversight through State Task Force and District Task Force. Shahu Potole, Asonyo, AIR News, Kohima.
China today said it will send a top negotiator to the United States to resume trade talks. The country's Commerce Ministry said in a statement that Vice Commerce Minister Wang Xiaowen, the Deputy Representative on International Trade Negotiations, will meet with senior U.S. Treasury official David Malpass at the invitation of the U.S. The ministry said Beijing welcomes the dialogue and communication on the basis of reciprocity, equality and integrity. U.S. and China plan to launch a new round of tit-for-tat tariffs on $16 billion worth of goods from each country on the 23rd of this month. Washington has also lined up tariffs on an additional $200 billion in Chinese imports, with U.S. President Donald Trump saying he could raise tariffs on those products to 25% instead of the previously touted 10%. The U.S. Treasury Department has announced sanctions on Chinese and Russian companies for violating the economic embargo on North Korea. The department said the companies in China and Singapore were exporting alcohol, tobacco and cigarette products to North Korea in violation of UN Security Council sanctions. The companies and individuals will have their assets in the U.S. frozen and be banned from doing business with U.S. firms. The benchmark domestic share indices logged losses in afternoon trade amid weak Asian stocks. The Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange was down by 139 points at 37,713. The Nifty at the National Stock Exchange also slipped 42 points to 11,393. At the foreign exchange market, the rupee in afternoon deals plunged 43 paise to a low of 70 rupees and 32 paise against the US dollar. India will take on Nepal in the semi-finals of the South Asian Football Federation SAF Under-15 Women's Championship at Thimphu, Bhutan today. The Indian Eves had advanced to the last 4 of the tournament after finishing at the top of 3-team Group A with 2 wins from as many games. Nepal, however, ended second in Pool B with a victory and a defeat. The other semi-final, which is also scheduled for today, will be played between Bangladesh and Bhutan. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee's condition continues to be critical. Several leaders, including Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, visit AIIMS to inquire about his health. Flood situation worsens in Kerala. Death toll rises to 73. Prime Minister asks Defence Ministry to step up relief and rescue operations. Centre tells Supreme Court that the creamy layer principle cannot be applied to deny quota to SC/ST employees in promotion in government jobs. Simultaneous elections to Lok Sabha and state assemblies cannot take place unless constitution is amended, clarifies Election Commission. China to send a top negotiator to US to resume trade talks. And in women's football, India to play Nepal today in the semi-finals of SAF Under-15 Championship in Bhutan. And with that, we end the Midday News.